They say there was a time when the sky refused to cry. No raindrop touched the soil. The rivers dried into silence. The sun pressed down like a punishment. And the people, they watched their crops curl and their animals fall. They stood beneath a sky so wide, it felt cruel. Not a single cloud would visit them. No breeze, no mist, no hope. The ground cracked like old skin. The gods, it seemed, had turned their backs. But the people of Balobedu did not pray to the sky. They prayed to the queen who could command it. Majaji was not born. She was summoned. On a night when thunder cracked the earth and stars hid behind thick clouds, a child slipped into the world without a cry. Her mother, the rain queen before her, whispered, "She carries the storm in her blood." And so it was. Even as a girl, the wind bent toward her. Water curved around her fingers. The earth pulsed beneath her feet. The forest raised her, not in silence, but in song. Wind whispered her name through the trees. Birds paused when she passed. Even the shadows parted. She learned from the roots and listened to the stones. She walked barefoot over thorns without flinching. By moonlight, she called the clouds by name. By daylight, she listened to the heartbeat of the land. The people began to notice. A girl too quiet to be ordinary, too strong to be ignored. They called her gifted. Some called her sacred. And then one voice asked, "If you had power like that, what would you do with it?" Let the sky hear your answer. Write it in the comments. Then stay. Watch. There is more to come. But not everyone was in awe. Some feared what they could not explain. Whispers twisted like vines. She's cursed. She's not of this world. And fear, as always, grew teeth. One morning the elders gathered. Their eyes held worry. Their words, warning. "Your gift is growing," they said, "and so are their doubts." Majaji did not flinch. She only asked, "Does the sky fear its own thunder?" Then she stood and walked deeper into the forest, where no path had ever been. The forest swallowed her but did not hide her. It tested, it watched, it waited. Days passed, nights stretched, no fire, no food, only instinct. Majaji moved like wind through trees. She listened to silence. She spoke to rain. And when her body weakened, her spirit rose. She dreamed of thunder wrapped in feathers, of ancestors carving rivers through sky. She awoke with mud in her hair and a smile on her face. The forest had answered. She had passed the trial. She emerged from the forest changed, not taller, not older, but deeper. Majaji no longer walked. She flowed. The villagers saw it instantly. Children fell silent mid-play. Mothers forgot the thread in their hands. Fathers turned toward her without knowing why. The trees bowed slightly. The wind stilled. Even the goats stopped chewing. She had crossed into something else. The elders gathered once more, but this time they did not speak. They watched, and one finally said, "She brings the rain." They waited, not for clouds, but for proof. Majaji stood in the village square, barefoot, still, eyes open but far away. Her arms rose, slowly, like branches learning light. Above her the sky began to darken, not with thunder, but with hush. A silence so loud it filled every ear. And then a drop, one on her cheek, then a second on the elder's hand. Then all at once a sound that made them gasp. The drumbeat of sky. Rain, not wild, not harsh, but soft, steady, sure. It fell as if guided. It touched every roof, every field, every wound. The people ran into it, laughed in it, sank to their knees in it. And Majaji? She smiled, turned slowly to face the crowd. "Not from me," she whispered. "Through me." The elders knelt. Children reached out to touch her hand. She walked the village as the sky wept in joy. And somewhere among the clapping and cries, a question rose. If the rain listens to her, What else might she command? If your heart stirred just now, don't let this story pass like mist. Leave a mark, a comment, a share, a reason for the world to remember. Because stories like this are more than stories. They are seeds. And you might be the rain they're waiting for. Night fell, but the rain did not stop. It wrapped the village like a song, gentle but unending. Fires hissed, drums slept. Hearts beat to a rhythm they didn't understand. In the center, Majaji stood alone. The elders approached, but none spoke. What words do you offer to someone who speaks sky? Then she moved, slow, certain, toward the sacred pool where the spirits watched. She carried no offerings, no tools, just herself. The earth felt each step. The pool shimmered, as if aware. She stepped into the water, not to wash, not to bless, to become. The surface held her reflection and then let it go. She knelt, raised her arms not to the sky, but to the silence. And from the deep, not thunder, not wind, but voice. A voice older than time. A whisper made of roots. It called her name. And she answered, not with words, but with her breath. The villagers felt it. Their eyes welled without knowing why. The pool began to rise, water lifting upward as if remembering its own beginning. Majaji did not move. The water embraced her, spinning slowly, rising until it crowned her. Then, light. From beneath the surface, from above the clouds, from inside her bones, and the spirits saw, and the people knew. This was not just rain, this was covenant, this was legacy. The village knelt, not because they were told, but because the earth did. And Majaji, she opened her eyes. They glowed with storm and memory, and she whispered, I am still yours. They crossed in awe. Feet touched dry land where none should be. No songs, no voices, only breath and the echo of water retreating. Majaji stood at the edge, alone, watching her people step into a future she had paid for. Some turned to look back. She did not wave. She did not speak. Even the river bowed in silence, closing behind them as if it had never moved. The sky cleared. The storm had passed. But inside her, lightning still lived. She walked last. Her robe clung to her legs. Her hands were empty, her eyes full. The land before them was green, but her gaze remained behind. That night the people lit fires, but no one sang. They sat in a circle with her at the center, but she was not among them. She stared into the dark as if listening for a heartbeat now gone. A child offered her food. She smiled but did not eat. An elder knelt beside her but spoke no words. They knew, all of them. There are wounds no words can reach. The stars blinked overhead. The fire cracked quietly. And Majaji whispered to no one, I remember. The tribe did not ask questions. They simply watched. In that silence, a new name was being born. A name that meant what was lost and what was made sacred. But no one spoke it. Not yet. They waited as if the name itself needed time to rise from the river. Her name was never spoken aloud, but it echoed in every story they would tell after. Majaji, the rain that never stopped falling. The girl who whispered to the sky and the ancestors listened. The woman who gave her silence so a people could find their voice. They would build homes where she walked, plant seeds where she wept, raise children under her memory. And though her face would fade, her spirit would root deep in the earth. So when the storms come, they say her name without saying it. A breath, a tremble in the leaves, a mother's tear. Do you hear her? Would you carry what she carried? Would you lose everything to give everything? Then let her name live on. Comment her name. Majaji. Let the world know. She was real, and if stories like this matter to you, subscribe. because we're just getting started.